Hello, welcome to Your Vote Counts, a public informational nonpartisan service program designed to get acquainted with the candidates vying for the 2022 primary races for mayor, Salem City Council, Marion County Commissioners, and Polk County Commissioners. These interviews come to you through the producers at Capital Community Media, collaboration on questions and moderators from the American Association of University Women, Salem City Club, League of Women Voters in Marion and Polk counties, and neighborhood associations. All candidates for these races were invited, and all but two chose to participate. Candidates did not receive the 7 questions prepared by the League of Women Voters ahead of time. Candidates were invited to prepare a 2-minute opening addressing their background and qualifications for the office, and a 2-minute closing addressing their goals for the office if elected. I am Joyce Zook from the American Association of University Women Salem branch, and I would like to introduce Kevin Cameron, who is running for Marion County Commissioner. Candidate Cameron, welcome. And we look forward now to your opening remarks.
Well, thank you, Joyce. And I want to thank Capital Community Media for putting these on. It's great to be able to share with the public in this way. So, again, I'm Marion County Commissioner Kevin Cameron. I will be running for my 3rd term as Marion County Commissioner. My background is, pretty widespread. Started as a young man in the agricultural industry, hauling hay and learning how to work really hard in the agricultural industry in Southern Oregon. Got into the restaurant business when I was 16, 17 years old, stayed in the restaurant business all my life. Still have minority interest in a couple of restaurant operations, but got into politics as a result of that business background and my family and involvement in the community. And it really has been an honor to serve since 2005 when I was first appointed to the House of Representatives. And I think one of the biggest experiences, most important experience I've had in my political career was in the historical tied session in 2011. It was the first time in the history of Oregon that the House was tied 30-30. And we had the first time a Republican governor came back, John Kitzhaber, for the 3rd term. That was where I believe my skill set was most used. And to this day, I'm one of those people who listens to everybody, listens to their ideas, and tries to make sure that they are seen as people, not as objects, and that I can identify with them and help get things done for our community. I think I've done that. My track record shows that, and I'm honored to be here today and serve. And I hope that I'll get reelected in November.
Thank you so much for those opening remarks. And now we're ready to delve into the questions. The first one, what issues are unique to Marion County? Which of these do you see as priorities for the commissioners and why?
Wow, what a big question. Well, first off, Marion County it has a few things that we're unique about. One is we have the most incorporated cities of any of the 36 counties in Oregon. We have 20 incorporated cities. And you take out the large cities such as Salem and Woodburn, Kaiser, and you get down to, say, 15 very small cities. You could start to name them off. And those cities need support and need help. And so the county serves in many ways to help those cities with various things in getting grants and economic development and in communications, et cetera. The other unique thing to Marion County, to our citizens, and especially those of us that live in Salem, we get this harvest of bountiful fresh food, especially in the springtime when the markets are going and stuff. we're the number one farm gate producing county in the state of Oregon. So gross product from farms is number one. So we have to make sure we're preserving that historical heritage and that important economic driver in Marion County. So those are two unique things that I think. The other challenges we've had in the last, obviously in the last 2-3 years, we can go back to the water challenge that we had here in Salem because of the pollution, the algae outbreak. Then we had COVID that hit us. Then we had the wildfires that hit us. And as a individual who lives in Detroit full time, I was evacuated during those wildfires. And then we had an ice storm that hit us in that next February. And then we had a heat storm that destroyed many of our crops, or at least reduced the yield in the last summer. So with all of those, that's 4 emergencies that we have had to deal with actually 5 if you go back to the water. In my time that was here, nobody's ever had to do that. So one of our priorities is to try to help with recovery from those things. Obviously, COVID, still people are trying to recover. It's not gone. We still have some cases of COVID. We're going to have boosters that are coming out. There's all kinds of activities that are still testing that's going on for that. We've got the wildfire recovery. I want to mention that all 3 commissioners were elected countywide. So we all care about every part of the county. Even though I live in Detroit, I care about every part, Jefferson, Aurora, whatever, Salem, because I'm elected countywide. So that recovery that we are working on is really, really important, especially in the wildfires, because we were already behind on home. And when you lose 700 more homes, it's really important that we focus on getting those rebuilt. The good news is we have had over 50% of the homes that were destroyed in the wildfires between Lynn and Marion County. We had more than Lynn, but between the 2 counties, we've had over 50% of them apply for building permits. That's great news. We're way ahead of other wildfire recovery geographic areas. However, it's never good enough when you're still homeless and you still don't have a house that you want to come back to. And maybe you're underinsured or not insured. And so we're working really well with the state and with our other partners, federal partners, to try to help those people come back.
Yes. Well, you anticipated our next question in your first question response. The next question is, what is the county doing to ensure emergency preparedness? And what still needs to be done? And I know you talked about a lot of emergency situations, but perhaps not the big one that's coming at some time, as is the earthquake. So
right. And every time I talk about this, and I'm going to say this right up front to the people that are watching this, you are the first line of emergency preparation. And we learned that during the water issue. People didn't have enough water on hand. You should have, go to the Red Cross and look at what they say to have in your own home. So it starts with you. You can't help anybody else unless you've taken care of yourself. So what are we doing? I'm going to continue to preach that. Our emergency management team, all of us try to say, if you're not prepared, we can't help. The government can't save us when something like this happens, right? So that's the first thing. The second thing that we're doing is our emergency management team is working, as I said at the beginning, we have 20 incorporated cities. Salem has their own emergency manager, and they have a program and they work on that. But what we're trying to do is coordinate and making sure that each local city jurisdiction has a plan in place for various emergencies. And we've experienced, as I said, several different ones. The big one I think you're referencing to is the Cascadia event. And I think it was probably 10 years ago, I participated as a state representative with the National Guard in a big project that simulated what would happen. We set up a hospital out here in town, and how would we do that? So I just want to continue to say, please, look in your house, and you have water, food, you have a backup supply for energy, batteries, all those things that you're going to need before somebody can get to you for help. The ice storm is a great example. There was many people without power. I think the longest was probably close to 30 days that PGE said that they had hard people to reach to. Well, we only have so many deputies, but we went out and did wellness checks. I did a ride along with one of our deputies when he was doing wellness checks, that people had called from out of state saying they hadn't been able to reach their mom, and we wanted to go there and make sure that person, and we called them back in Arizona and said, yes, the person's fine. They're being taken care of. So, our emergency services are only as good as the public is prepared to help and do that themselves. So it's a big project. I'll say a notification system for fires, right? There was, unfortunately, we lost 5 lives in Marion County during that wildfire. I received text messages from Metcom saying, be ready to go tomorrow at noon, just be ready. And then 3 hours later, I got a text message that said, go now. And at the same time, deputies were out there on their bullhorn saying, go now. Potentially, we're looking at sirens, right? That would actually work with earthquake preparedness. Professor Toomey at University of Oregon, in fact, I just saw him on TV, I think this morning or last night, about this wildfire cameras that we're working on to try to prepare and see fires that are coming sooner than we see them today. Because the days of the old fire station up on the mountain outlook are far behind us. So there's many things that we're working on, but I want to always go back to saying, do I have the water? Do I have my generator ready? Do I have the things that I could survive for a couple of weeks before somebody could get to me?
Right. Yes. The next question is a bit different here. This is what has been the impact of the removal of school resource officers' presence in the schools? Do you believe they should be reinstated?
Absolutely yes. What format that is, or what, how they interact, I mean, that's debatable depending on the school district. But we need a presence in our schools to help avoid things, right? And I think we just had a presentation the other day, and this is a hard thing to even repeat, but we had a presentation. This month is Child Abuse Awareness Month, and I've got a blue pin around here someplace I should have up. But, in the last year, there was underreporting of children being, having issues. And that's because there was no eyes on kids in the schools. And so I think having a different set of eyes and having the people that are there that can help prevent things, because still, if there's an issue, the police or the sheriff, or depending on what the jurisdiction is going to get called. And now you have this uniformed person that shows up, and it may escalate it, versus having somebody who's in teacher-looking clothes that the kids interact with every day. They have somebody they can talk to. You build a rapport and a relationship with law enforcement and the kids, and they see them as they grow up as people that are there to help and not to just do whatever the images on TV. So it's probably too soon to really have any analytical data. I have said from day one, I support those, but it's a local decision. Every school district should make that decision. Our sheriff has said that. Former Chief Jerry Moore said that. And I think Salem Chief Womack today is saying that, hey, we're here to support the schools in any way they need us. But they need to be able to tell us what it is they want, and then we can see if we can conform to that.
Okay. What is being done to bring broadband to more rural areas in Marion County?
Wow. Not only to bring it, but it's been brought. We just connected. We worked with, I got so much I could share. Our economic development department has been working on this for probably 6-7 years. We got Magellan, the consultant, to come in and help us assess where we are with broadband. We just connected up out into and it's really important to our agricultural community because they use drones and all kinds of things now to just figure out where they can spot water instead of wasting water. There's all kinds of technology out there if they have the internet that they can use. So we connected up some rural areas with a provider. We were able to get a grant for them. And now there's several farms along this road out towards the Wheatland Ferry that have access to broadband. We've just this week, we sat in a management update where they identified the areas that are priorities and how we can get there. Another one was just before the fires hit in Detroit and Idana, Ziply Fiber, with our staff's help, got a $600,000 grant and put in fiber in Idana and Detroit. Well, that'll help them come back after the fires because now you can do a home business in a nice rural area. And so those are the types of projects that we're working on. And we know that the feds just loaded up a whole bunch of money that's pointed at broadband. We need to be in a place to work with our small cities and rural areas to get those dollars to come back so we can help our providers have more connections.
Thank you so much for answering these questions today. And you are invited now to share your 2-minute closing comments about your goals for this office if you are elected.
Oh, Joyce, thank you. And I really appreciate the opportunity. I would say my priorities are continue to, as they always have been, to listen to the people and figure out what are their priorities. And we know that we have to be better prepared for these emergencies. So we'll continue to learn from the past. We know government is not perfect. None of us are. So going back to those emergencies and looking at the after action reports that have been done as a result of those, how did we handle them? How could it be handled differently in the future? There's been great interaction with other county commissioners, even out of state, people that have had similar experiences and how they handle them. So we'll continue to do that and document and improve our policies and procedures. But the one thing that I have always found fascinating is to go out and whether it's a town hall or just listening to people talk about what their issues are and how can we come back and fix those issues? And there was one recently about a street that's not even a county street. It was in the newspaper. And we're going to meet with those people and we're going to try to figure out a solution for them on how they could get their street fixed. Even though you could say it's not even Marion County's jurisdiction, but there are citizens. I represent all approximately 340,000 citizens in Marion County, not just the ones that voted for me. And that's something I pride myself in is that, yes, we need to get elected to govern. But once you're elected to govern, you are representing all the people and you got to do the best you can to steer right down the middle and make sure that you can satisfy as many needs as possible. But the number one thing I want to continue to stress to our citizens is please, please, please let us know what we can do to help you, but prepare yourself. These emergencies are a good example of making sure that we don't take our safety for granted. And I want to thank you for the time that you've given me today.
Yes. Thank you, Candidate Cameron, for our interview today and for sharing your thoughts. Thanks, Capital Community Media, for their extensive technology and producer skills used to create this program. Thank you to the League of Women Voters of Marion and Polk Counties for the design and preparation of the program, and to AAUW and Salem City Club for help with the question development and for providing the moderators. And thanks to you, the public, for watching in order to become an informed voter. For more local, state, national voter information on candidates and ballot measures, visit vote411.org. You have until April 26th to register to vote or make changes. Ballots go out April 27th, and according to a new law, will be accepted if postmarked before or on May 17th. Elections matter. Remember to vote because your vote counts.